Hello and welcome to the second episode of BookTube Bestie. In this series, I pick booktubers and I read some of their favorites of 2021 and some of their least favorites of 2021 and see our tastes align. Last episode, I did Jade, which made a lot of sense because we have a lot of things in common. Today, I don't know what possessed me to choose. Drumroll please. Erin from BookedAndBusy. When I think of Erin, I do think we have a lot in common because we both like high epic fantasy, we both love a little bit of a sci-fi sometimes, we both kind of branch off into like thriller and horror and fantasy romance at times, but like I feel like our main genre is like high epic fantasy. So I was like, you know what? Erin will be a good pick. I have looked at Erin's list and I would like to say I am more interested in the books on her worst list than the books on her best list, which could make this very interesting. If we're going through Erin's best list, I have my phone because this time I was not as organized. I didn't write everything down. We're just gonna like scrub through her video and look at all the choices we have. Okay, so to start off with ones I haven't read that I'm interested in, okay? We have She Who Became the Sun, which I own. We have House of Leaves, which not entirely sure about. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which like I am interested in, but I think I'm gonna hate it. What have I done? She has Jade Legacy on it, so I could cheat and put Jade City on it because I haven't read Jade City and I do know she just like loves the trilogy, but I don't know if I'm willing to cheat that much. Rhythm of War, which I've only read the first Way of Kings, so I can't read that. People We Meet on Vacation, which I am not interested in, but the way this list is going might be my choice. And then Rune, and I mean, I loved Malice, but that's as far as I've gotten, so again, I can't really read that one. And I feel like that's like giving her obviously a +1, because obviously I'm gonna love that one. So, out of that list, I think I'm leaning towards She Who Became the Sun for sure, but then I am very unsure what book to pick up. I might see if To Sleep in the Sea of Stars is in my library or People We Meet on Vacation. It could be fun to just like spice it up. A House of Leaves I'm intrigued by, but I don't think I'm ready for it. And I'm not sure I'm gonna love it. So for sure we're gonna pick up She Who Became the Sun. The next one is just, I think, depending on how I'm feeling at some point, but we will read this one. And then if we're looking at her worst lists, this one, I have a lot more to work with. For ones I'm interested in, we have The Deep, which is a horror novella, I believe, about like killer mermaids. Sounds intriguing. The Unspoken Name, which is literally on my list of books I want to read. Like that's a want to read for me. So could be going that way. Then we also have Legendborn that I am very interested in, but I'm unsure. I don't own any of those books, so it will be, I think, just depending on my library, what it has, what's available for me to get. I don't actually like take out physical books at a library most of the time, but I will do like ebooks or audiobooks. I mostly do audiobooks, so we will see. I think I'm gonna leave future Cassidy to choose which books she wants to read from this list, but there will be one at least off of each list and then aim for 2 off of each list. But if I only get 3 books, that's fine, but I will at least have 3 books in this vlog. Erin, I don't think that we have similar tastes. I think this will be very interesting to see. I'm nervous. Anybody else nervous? It's getting hot in here. Maybe I should take my beanie off. What possessed me? What possessed me? Well, see you in a bit. Y'all deserve an update. I have started the Unspoken Name. Guys, I didn't trust Erin. I was like, no, this looks like a good book. I want to read it. It's gonna be good. Why is it on your worst of the year list? Blah, 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 blah. I should have trusted Erin. I am so close to DNFing it. Okay, I am, let's see where I am at, okay? I am 22% in. I've read 4 hours of the audiobook and I have 14 hours left. Let me tell you, I'm not enjoying myself. It's so boring. And like, I don't even know what this book was about. Like, not gonna lie, I've never read a synopsis for this book. I just thought it looked good, and I think I've heard someone say it was good, and then, you know, The Broken Binding was doing special editions, so I was like, ooh, I should read that. It's gotta be good. I have no idea what this book is about, and I'm 4 hours into it. No clue. I am going to go look at the synopsis because, oh god, Erin, give it 1 star. Why didn't I trust you? That synopsis doesn't help. All of that has happened. That happened in the first chapter. I should DNF. I'm having such a hard time DNFing books lately, though. But I should trust her. I should trust her and I should DNF it. But do I give it like another 10%? Do I give it that? I don't know what to do. Because, like, it's a sapphic book, and I haven't even gotten to the sapphic part of it yet. I have no idea where that's coming. So far, I felt like it was going to lean the opposite way, and we were going to get a straight romance so many times in this book. And I'm just, like, I'm confused, and I'm bored, and I can't even tell you. So, like, at this point, what I think that this book is about is we're following this girl who... in this world, there's a god, the unspoken name is like the god, the Unspoken. And the Unspoken chooses one of these young girls they're orcs, it's a sapphic orc story, to be its bride. And so when they come of age, they are sacrificed. And then, the mage wizard guy comes and tells her, "You don't have to die." And then she says, "I don't, please save me," and follows him. And then they're trying to reclaim his title because he was also kicked out of a land. And then in the freaking synopsis, it says, like, gods will remember. That happened in the first chapter, so I still don't know what this book is about. Nope. I will get back to you because I am unsure if I'm DNFing it yet because I have problems. Erin didn't DNF it, so I feel like I can't DNF it. She's told me to DNF it. She doesn't know I'm filming this, but I had messaged her and I was like, this book really is that bad. And she said, "You deserve good things in life. Please DNF it." So, yeah, I should probably listen to her, but am I going to? Probably not, because I like to torture myself. So I'll update you in a bit. Okay, I figured we need an update. Sorry, my boyfriend's showering if you can hear him. So I decided to DNF the Unspoken name. I decided it wasn't worth it. If I'm already not enjoying it, don't continue. There's no time to read books I don't like, and I should have just trusted Erin in the first place. So we have one comparison already. 1 point for Erin. And then I decided to pick up another book off of her worst of the list because I'm at my lake this weekend and I just needed something really quick to read. So I picked up The Deep by Rivers Solomon, which I honestly hadn't known a lot about. I just knew it was kind of like a horror book and it had mermaids in it and that it was short. And that sounded intriguing to me. As we all know, I'm trying to read a little bit more horror, so I thought, why not pick up a horror book? Even though she said it was on her worst of the year list, for some reason I thought it still looked really creepy and I might like it. Oh, there's a lot of people who read it and really liked it on my Goodreads, which I am an hour and a half into the audiobook, so I have 2 hours and 25 minutes left, so I'm almost at 50%, probably at like 35. I don't really have thoughts about it currently. I just think that it's okay. I don't think it's very creepy. It's another just like atmospheric read. I don't see the horror part in it at all, besides like the fact that it's in the synopsis, but like I wish I hadn't. I'm glad I didn't read the synopsis before I read this book, because I feel like the only creepy part is spoiled in the synopsis and like the most effed up part. But yeah, I'm not thrilled by this book. I don't really care. I'm pretty sure if I put it down right now, everything would be okay. But considering it's only 2.5 hours and I will be listening on 2 times speed, so about an hour left, I'm gonna finish it and we'll see my thoughts then, since I don't really have thoughts right now. As I said, I'm just like neutral, which is sometimes like, that's not a good sign for a book. I'm not neutral a lot with books. I think that that's a sign that I really don't like them normally, because it just means that I don't care about anything happening. Like, I don't even care enough to be angry at the book or be mad at the book or dislike the book. I just don't care. This is off to a great start, but this is what happens when I read the worst books first. Why did I do this? I don't know.
Many unbearable hours later.
So I finished The Deep. I have conflicting feelings on this one because I do understand that the book is talking about like generational trauma, and like that's a good thing to talk about and all of that, but I hated the actual book. Like the book just wasn't good. But As we know me, I don't really like atmospheric reads that don't really have a plot, and that's all this book was. It was an atmospheric book with a message, and that just doesn't vibe with me, and half the time I was paying little attention because I was so bored. If this wasn't such a short audiobook, I would have DNF'd it. I agree that it was not a good book, honestly. I don't necessarily think it does the generational trauma well, but also I am a white person and I can't speak on this. I am not a known voice, so don't listen to that part for me. But yeah, I just didn't like this one. I agree with Erin. This was not a good book. Why did I doubt her in the first place? I don't know. But now I need some happiness in my life. I'm tired of reading books I don't like. Why do I always read the worst books first? I don't know. So I'm still at my lake, and the only other book I had brought with me is the second book in Malice, but because I want to get this video done, I'm going to continue on. So I took out a ebook of She Who Became the Sun from my library. I do have the physical book at home, but I'm gonna start it here and see how far I get into it. And hopefully I will like this. I'm a little unsure about this one because I've heard not so great reviews about this until Erin, and then Erin raved about it to me one day on Sprints. And so that has me more excited now. But before this, I had only heard not so good things and I was really scared for it. But hopefully now I'll like this one. I really need a book that I like, but I'm not ready to commit to John Gwynne at this moment in time. So hopefully this is the book for me, and hopefully, I mean, me and Erin have been on par for the last two. So hopefully we'll be on par for her favorites too. I am about to go to bed, but I started She Who Became the Sun, and I've only read one chapter, and I'm really liking it. I like the writing style, and her main character, her like perseverance and her like personality really reminds me of Rin from the Poppy War. And I'm hoping to get like a darker protagonist that we don't necessarily love, and we're not like here like you make shitty decisions sometimes. I'm hoping to get that from this book at this point in time. But as I said, I've only read one chapter and I'm really liking what's happened in the story so far. I totally forgot what this book was about, but I actually did know what it's about. Essentially, not a spoiler, all happens in the first chapter and is on like the back of the book. Our main character is told that she is nothing, like she's destined for nothing, but her brother is destined for greatness, and when her brother dies, she decides to become her brother and steal his destiny, which is pretty freaking cool in my opinion. And I'm gonna catch you up probably in a couple days now because my battery is dying and we are still at the lake. So who knows when I'll be able to update you, but thanks for coming along currently, and you'll see me in 2 seconds, but it might not be 2 seconds for me. So I'm about 30% into She Who Became the Sun. It's kind of hard to like figure out where I am since I'm reading the ebook version. I think it's about double the amount of pages, but I am loving it so far. I really enjoyed part one, and I do agree it's kind of jarring when you get to part two. Like lots of the reviews, people didn't like part two as much because it was jarring to go from the one perspective to all of a sudden multi-perspective. But I think as you read on, it all makes sense, and it does make sense to me why the author did it that way, because you wouldn't have been able to get that like backstory without doing it that way. And her backstory is so good. I'm literally obsessed with this. It's 100% giving me Poppy War vibes, Rage of Dragons vibes, like it's like a mixture of those, and it's like dark and gritty. It's been sold as one of the Sapphic trifecta books, and obviously was like marketed as the Sapphic book, and it is Sapphic, but it's very just natural, and it's not like heavily romance plotted, which I think when people tend to like push Sapphic books, often they are romance. And I think that marketing did this book dirty because people went into it thinking I'm getting a heavy girl on girl romance. But no, you just are getting two people that like each other in the end. I mean, I haven't even gotten to that point. There is definitely a bit of a male on male romance that's like not really a romance, but like you can tell that they have feelings for each other going on, and I'm enjoying that too. I'm really just enjoying it all. This is a serious revenge story. There's revenge happening so many levels. I'm loving it. I'm so excited that I picked this up right now. Like, this is so good. This is exactly what I wanted after I've had so many mediocre reads. This is so good. I'm sitting at a 4-star right now. but potential to be a 5. And again, I'm only like 30% in. So we're gonna keep reading. We're gonna keep hopefully loving it, and we will update you soon. I'm home! So that means I finally have the physical book and can hold it up to you. I am 75% through this book. I just have like, I think 100 pages left maybe. I'm on page 291. I think it's about 420 pages. I'm really, really enjoying this book. There are a couple downsides for me, which is I think what's gonna put it at a 4-star and not a 5-star, but I still have 100 pages left to blow me away. There is a bit of an issue for me with the pacing. I found part 2 is dragging on just a little bit too long for me. We could have cut it down a little bit, considering like part 1 is less than 100 pages and I believe part 2 is only about 100 pages. 200 of this is part 2. And I'm just finding what's happening in part 2 is just being drilled into my brain, and maybe there's a reason for that. I can't really tell you. Like this might not be as big of an issue when I get to the end, because there might have been a reason that it's been drilled into my brain so much. But that leads me to like the other issue I have with it, is that there is one thing that is so freaking repetitive that it's driving me a little bonkers. As we know, this book is about a girl who like steals her brother's name and brother's destiny, and so it is repeated again and again and again that she's scared that heaven is going to realize what she's done. And it's said in like every freaking chapter, and like I don't need it to be said in every freaking chapter. I get it. But again, this is a debut book, so I think that I might give it a bit of a pass for that. And other than that, this book is beautiful. We are following 2 different major people in this. Like there are other POVs, but like we're following 2 major. Ju Jongba, I think I could be saying that wrong, who is just trying to live. Like her determination, there is a little bit of a darkness in her, and just her like will to survive is so freaking good. And then we're following Uyang, I think is how you say it. I also could be wrong. Again, I'm really sorry. I have been listening to the audiobook and I'm trying to get the names correct. I wonder if there is, I don't think there is, a pronunciation guide, which would be something I really would love to see in this. And Uyang is on a vengeance plotline, and I am loving everything we do in his POVs. Like I honestly want more of him, because most of this is Ju's story, and although that is still great, I'm loving Uyang's, and I'm very excited to see where it goes in the future. I mean, I still have 100 pages left, so I'm very excited to see how it goes in general. Again, I'm really, really liking this book. I don't really have that much to say besides that I'm liking it. The other thing that it does get a lot of criticism for is the idea that it's not very fantasy. So I will warn you going into this, it is a historical fantasy. I really like fantasy like this. The Black Coast is also similar to this, where there's not a lot of just like in-your-face magic. The fantasy is more in the fantastical elements and in the world itself and in the religion, in the lore, in the mythology. There is a little bit, like in Black Coast there are dragons, and in this one there are the Prince of Radiance. There is like a little bit of magic there, and then there's also ghosts, which I think ghosts are kind of magical, but I know not everyone does. But yeah, and so I will warn people going into this is a historical fantasy. Don't go into it thinking that you're getting a Shadow and Bone type magic or She Who Shall Not Be Named type magic. It's just in the lore. Another one that's like this is the Great Coat series. It's just, those are all fantasies, but they're not like fantasy. They're not magic. They're just fantastical. And I just want to warn you, because I think people are going into it expecting more magic, and I think that's letting it down. And also more romance. And I have gotten to the romance. There is romance, but that's not the selling feature of this book. It's just a bonus. And I think, as I said earlier, marketing did this book dirty, because I think it made the sapphic romance the selling feature of this book. And so people went into it being like expecting that, but it's just there. It's a bonus, and there are other queer characters in this. There is a lot of representation in this, and it's just beautiful. I'm really liking it. The more I talk about it, the more I realize how much I like it. So maybe I will reach a 5-star by the end. I love when that happens, when you just like talk about a book and you're like, oh shit, I really do like this. And yeah, I need to get back into reading. I'll update you in a bit, because I need to read more. And Aaron, I think we're 3 for 3. I finished the book. which I liked it. And I'm very happy I liked it because I love this cover and I really wanted to keep this book on my shelf. I really ended up enjoying it. I'm giving it a 4-star. As I said before, what weaknesses this book has is its pacing and some of the repetitiveness, but it's beautiful. It's done so well. I'm very excited to see where it goes next. If you like a bit of a darker book or like a grittier main character, I would recommend this. Both of the characters we follow are very gritty and grim and aren't necessarily making the best choices, and I just love that. Like, I would compare them to The Poppy War and Rage Dragons. Like, it's that same kind of protagonist. And yes, this is exactly what I needed. Exactly. And I want to tell everyone right now that, like, a 4 is a really good rating from me. I don't give out 5s that often. Like, a 5 just, it has to just, like, it's like an instinct to me almost that this book will be 5. Like, a 5 is a favorite. Like, I don't have that many of them in the world. So, a 4 is still incredibly freaking good. And this got a high 4, like a 4.5. 4.5 at least. I will be recommending this book to people. I'm saddened that it's not being liked as much as it is because it deserves more. It just, marketing failed it. There is a scene. If you know the scene, you know. There's a fisting scene in this. And I will say I felt like that scene wasn't necessary. It's very brief, and I felt like that scene was very jarring, just like, you flip the page and it happens. I would have liked to see it be more eased into. I feel like that might be why a lot of people didn't like this book, is the writing style can be very jarring because it just like switches into things. So it goes from like one perspective to multi-perspective, like your perspectives are just like changing. I definitely enjoyed reading physically way more than I did listening to the audiobook, although the audiobook is amazing. I definitely just like preferred the physical read for this one. It was more enjoyable, and I don't have that much to say about this. It's always hard to talk about books that you like. I don't know what it is about them, but a book that I don't like, I can tend to point out why I didn't like it, but this one, and the politics, and like, I can just see where the series is going to go, and it's going to be incredible. So yeah, I would definitely say I recommend this book, but do pick it up not expecting a romance, not expecting magic. It's just a historical fantasy, military fantasy. It's good. It does drag on a little bit at times, but it's good. And yeah, I will count a 4-star as a +1. Me and Erin, you know, she's on 3 for 3. Our tastes are aligning. So freaking good. Cue literally 2 seconds later, but I did start my, I think, last and final book for this vlog. I started To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Palini. I actually don't know how to say it. I'm really bad with names. And I'm a chapter in, and I've already got high hopes. It's kind of funny because I feel like this first chapter is so wholesome, and I had started it like really quickly after finishing She Who Became the Sun, and that last chapter was not wholesome, so I think it was just like funny to like see them. But I have a feeling this book is not going to be very wholesome. I actually don't really know the synopsis for this book, so I'm gonna go check it out. I just know that it's a really freaking long book. Let's go to Goodreads. I have a feeling some sus things are about to happen just from where I'm at already. Oh, I actually didn't know that this was a first contact for some reason. I don't know why I didn't know this. Oh gosh. Mel has only given it 3 stars, and me and Mel have a lot in common. I'm scared. But my other friend Cassandra has given it 5 stars. And obviously Erin gave it 5 stars. If I'm looking through just like people I follow on Goodreads, it's not got the best reviews. This just has me really scared. I will say that the first chapter has me very intrigued, and reading that synopsis has me even more intrigued. So I actually think that me and Erin could go 4 for 4. I have high hopes. I believe. I am trusting the way I did not trust at the beginning of this video, because if we go 4 for 4, past Cassidy that said, I don't think we have a lot in common, is gonna feel like an idiot. I already feel like an idiot going 3 for 3. Like, if there's 1, that's fine. And like, I don't overly like sci-fi's a little bit harder for me. So if there's 1, it's fine. We already know we have lots in common. I feel like an idiot, but let's continue reading, and yeah, we're just gonna have a good old time. don't have a book update, but I did receive some packages earlier this week. Now, I have talked about both of these in my recent haul. I will link that somewhere, probably down in the description bar if you'd like to check it out. I want to showcase them here too. I just hadn't had the physical copy with me at the time, but I have since received them. These are both indie self-pubbed. This one was kindly sent to me by the author Randall McNally. Its name is Shadowless. It is this beautiful, beautiful hardcover, and he gave me a personalized note, and that was really sweet of him and I just wanted to show you because I thought it was stunning and deserved a little bit of time in the spotlight. There is a map. And yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I talk about it in my haul, but essentially what I think happens is we're following these children who are born without shadows. And if they're born without shadows, the gods want them dead. And so these religions are hunting down the shadowless and trying to kill them because obviously the shadowless are meant for something and destined for something. I'm very excited. I feel very thankful that the author had reached out to me asking for if I would like to receive a copy, and I will be reviewing this at some point in the coming future. And the other one is Voices of War by Zach Argyle. This is book 1 of the Threadlight series. I've heard really good things about this. On the back it just says, how far will a man go to protect those he loves? A soon-to-be father with a dark voice in his head, a sheltered girl addicted to Threadlight, a young man whose life changes after he dies. Together they will change the world, whether they intend to or not. I go into more description in my recent haul, but I just wanted to showcase both of these because they are just beautiful, and also some love to some indie self-pubbed authors. I will hopefully be doing a vlog soon where I read a couple of indie self-pubbed books. I have another book on its way to me, and then I do have a bunch on Kindle Unlimited, and I do own a couple already, so I am very excited to attempt these soon, and hopefully that vlog will come soon. I haven't started it yet, but I'm hoping to maybe do a couple of these throughout the year and have every couple months a new little vlog where I try 2 to 3 self-pub books. That's all. No update. We have made it to the alien encounter kind of in the book, and I'm enjoying it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I feel like it's time for an update even though I'm not that much farther into this book. So I am 14% in, which is almost 5 hours into the audiobook. I still have a good old 27 hours left to go. I don't know what it is, I love chunky fantasy, but chunky sci-fi just intimidates the crap out of me. I listen to audiobooks this, maybe not this long, but quite long, a lot, just fantasy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very intimidated by this book. But so much has happened. I'm very intrigued of where we're going because, again, we're only 14% in, so I'm oh, where is this book going? So much is gonna happen, which this is a standalone, I believe, which also is kind of exciting because I know everything's gonna happen in this one book. And I don't read a lot of standalones because I just find I like fantasies that are series, but maybe standalone sci-fi is gonna be where it's at for me. I don't know. Okay, so I have some pretty big positives about this and why I think I'm going to really enjoy it as I go on. God, Erin, this is happiness, is the fact that we have the same reading taste. Okay, because I didn't expect us to. I knew we liked similar things, but I didn't think we'd be this on par. But anyways, I really like how basic the writing is. I mean it in the most complimentary way possible. The writing, what I don't like about sci-fi often is that they use so many science-heavy terminology. So I've tried a couple Michael Crichton books. I've tried Children of Time. I've tried The Three-Body Problem. A lot of sci-fi books make me feel stupid because the language and the science they use are above my reading level. And I don't think I'm a stupid person. So that's just how I feel about sci-fi most of the time. And I want to try more sci-fi and get past that point because maybe once I've gotten past the terminology, I'll enjoy them more. But at this point, that's where I'm kind of sitting. Where this book does have a lot of science. There is a lot of things happening that are scientific, but the language used breaks it down so well that even when they use a scientific term, it's been broken down to me so that I understand what they're meaning. And I really, really, really enjoy that because I want to like sci-fi. I want to read more sci-fi. I just don't want to feel stupid. And maybe that's just me. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying this one at this moment in time, but I have a lot left to read. So this is still a wild card because this could be going everywhere. At this point, I don't see any issues with pacing because I've been very intrigued in every single step of the way. Like, I keep being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! So, yeah, I think that this could be a win, but again, it's still a wild card. We're still really early on. Okay, an update. I'm on page 398. I'm just literally using a receipt as a bookmark of To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. It's late, I'm tired. I am enjoying it. I'm at about 46, so I haven't actually hit the 50% mark yet, but I'm getting there, and I just wanted to update you, and I probably won't update you until like closer to the end. But I'm enjoying it. There are definitely some issues. I have seen a lot of repetitiveness in the writing in like scenes that like we'll have a conversation with one person about someone to have the exact same conversation with that person in like 3 chapters from now. That's like not as necessary. There's some language that's repeated a lot. But for the most part, that isn't taking away from my enjoyment. It's just something to like be aware of, I think. The pacing itself is, I find, pretty good. Like, there are some, like, slower spots, but it's an 800-page book. Like, it's bound to have them. The audiobook is done really, really well. I really like the narrator for it. And I am just overall really enjoying it. I said earlier, the writing style like is quite basic for a sci-fi, and I'm really, really liking that. Like, I've never felt dumb at all. I feel like I understand what's going on, and I'm very intrigued. It's not necessarily like the most original work of art, in my opinion. Like, it is a first contact with aliens that follows a very known plot with very known plot points. But if it ain't broke, why fix it? Like, it's enjoyable. Like, I like this story, and I could see this story. Like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, this would be an epic movie. Like, this would be such a good movie. So, like, I don't care that it's been done before because it's being done very well, and I'm only at 50%, and, like, so much more is still supposed to happen. I'm nervous because I think in Erin's review, she says that the last half, you get a new mystery. And I have been feeling like maybe that first mystery has happened quite fast of us figuring things out. But like, if we're getting a new mystery, but also, is that going to be too jarring? I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where this book goes. And although I just said like it's been done before, the actual like aliens and I find like their culture is very interesting, and I'm very much enjoying that, and the world that he has built is very, very, very intriguing, and I love like a space TV show or a space movie. Like, I'm here for it. I love those. I love a first contact with alien. So I'm very, very happy that I'm finding a first contact with alien book that I'm really enjoying. Like, I would love to see this on screen one day at this point, and I'm very happy I picked this up at this point. That's all. I'll update you tomorrow once I've read some more, because it's bedtime now.
The next day.
Good morning. Oh, my battery's dying. Some major things literally just happened in this book. I've only read about 20 more pages, maybe 40 more pages, and some major things just happened, and we just had like a major reveal. And I just did want to say that although like the reveal was still like had me like, what the fuck? Because we've been switching characters so often in this book, I feel like the reveal didn't hit as hard because I was not sure who this character was in the reveal. Like, I had to like go back and find this character to figure out who exactly this character was, because we've had so many characters within the first 400 pages of this book. And truthfully, like, the characters are the weakest part of this book, in my opinion. We do have a bit of a found family aspect, but it's just not hitting me that hard. But yeah, I am very interested in where this is going because I need to get back into this reveal. But I just wanted to say, like, that has been a major weakness to this book. And I think that's why the book won't make it to a 5 for me. But I'm still feeling a 4. I have finally made it past 50%. I think I'm at about 58.8%. 94% in. I found a bookmark. I am on page 315. I think that there's some really incredible things happening in this book. I love the aliens. Like, we just got a good chunk of like alien knowledge, and the aliens have me so intrigued, and like the expansiveness of this universe is insane to me. Like, I know that space is like woo, but he does such a good job of like making you feel that expansiveness while still feeling like tight and constrictive to like human awareness. I will say I think the book could have gone through some editing, because there is some parts that lull, and like it is a chunky book, it should have lull parts, but some just weren't necessary to me. There is like a whole journey we go on in the first half of the video that I think is kind of useless. It was just a journey to like get us to this destination for a reveal to happen, and I feel like that journey was kind of useless. We could have done the reveal elsewhere. That part I didn't overly like, which again, I think that the dislikes will not put it at a 5, but I am still sitting at a 4, because like the world, the aliens, the universe is just so cool. And also I'm really glad I'm liking this, because I love this cover. I think it's beautiful, so I'm very happy. I like when I like beautiful covered books. When I hate them, I'm like, oh, how do I get rid of them? I still have a lot to go though, so there we go. I might need to move to another room for the next updates, so you don't just have me sitting with a blank wall on my bed. We're doing sprints, me on my channel with me, Erin, Jade, and G at this point, and I think I've given a lot of hints to the fact that it's Erin that I'm doing. I did show the book on a little sneaky snake sprint last night, and I've kind of hinted that Erin should know what book I'm reading, so I think the people are getting it. I don't know, let me know if you knew before going into this video, if you knew I was doing Erin or not, and if you like the hints, or if you'd prefer me to like keep it secret, keep it a little sneaky video.
Many hours later.
That doesn't need to be in here. I love when I have to take a bookmark out of a book. I have finished the book. Now, last time I think I checked up with you, we were only at like 50%, and then I decided I didn't really have much else to say, so I didn't want to update you until the end. There's one scene in particular that happens in this book that I really liked, because I'd been waiting for it the entire book, and if you know, you know, he's very brave. And other than that, like, I don't have much to say. When we last stopped in, I was sitting at a 4-star. I have decided on probably a 3.5, so a 3. I really did enjoy... Cat! I really did enjoy the story, and I liked it. Like, a 3 is not a bad rating. I just think that it has some issues. By the end of this book, I really had just wanted it to end. I'm not gonna lie, this book needed to be 200 pages shorter for me. There's so much things happening that were repetitive. I also have seen lots of complaints about the characters, and I do agree. Like, I wanted more character development, because by the end of this book, I wasn't caring about what was happening. And in another note, there was a chapter at the end that I think was the most useless chapter in the world. It's a gift-giving chapter, and I just felt like I didn't care. I didn't care enough about the characters to need that scene. I would love to see this in a movie. Like, I loved so much of this book, but I just think that it needed to be reviewed a little bit more times. I think that maybe, because I think he worked on it for like 9 years or something, he was too attached to parts that should have been edited out. It needed a few revisions. Like, I really did like it. I liked the story. I don't know. There's just something. It needed something. Actually, it needed less of something, really. But I would love to see this in a film. The cover and the title are beautiful to me. The like, very ending scene was everything to me. Like, the last like paragraph I did really enjoy. And the audiobook, the narrator did do a really good job, although she talks real slow. This audiobook did not need to be as long as it is, but this book does not need to be as long as it is, and like 2 hours of it are like the appendix at the back, because it's got a long appendix. Overall, I don't have much else to say. I just liked this book, but didn't love it in the end. I feel like this is very jarring to go from me saying like, oh my god, 4-star, I'm really liking this, to like what happened, but I haven't caught up with you in 50%, so like my feelings have changed a lot, because it just was too long and needed more character development. Like, the world, the plot, so good. The aliens themselves are so intriguing. There's a lot that I liked. I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I'm just gonna end this and say, like, I did like this, but this, if we're talking about points, isn't a point for Erin, although I do like this, and the fact that I did like it means that I think that I should be taking recommendations from Erin in the future, because I didn't hate it. Like, it's just not a favorite, but I definitely will be recommending it to people in the future, because it's still such an intriguing story. And as I said earlier, like, the expansiveness of the world, but yet the constraint to what a human mind is so cool. And there's a lot of things I liked about it. There is that. And with the end of this video, we have 3 that I completely agree with, I loved or I hated, and then there's one that I liked. I still liked it. It just wasn't, it won't be on a favorites list. I think when I'm looking at Erin's actual lists though, we don't actually have a lot in common. I'm gonna like scoot over to here. Since I haven't actually read a lot of the books on Erin's list, it's really hard to do this list, but if we're looking at what we agree on, it's this. If we're looking at what we don't agree on, it's that. And if we're looking at predictions for what I think that we will agree on or not agree on, I'm gonna put these in here too, because I can predict that I'm going to love Jade City and Malice. There we have it. I definitely will be looking at more of Erin's videos. I think I definitely can take recommendations from her. I think our tastes align quite well in the end, which Cassidy a couple days ago at the beginning of this video. Erin, I don't think that we have similar taste. It was real wrong. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say because I think my brain's a little bit dead because this was a really chunky book and I have just been reading all day. So I need just like a break and a breather. So my brain's not functioning right now. But in the end, I think this was a very successful episode of BookTube Bestie. And let me know down below who else you would like to see me do for this series. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to just leave a comment down below to say that you were here but you have nothing else to say, you can leave me a star emoji because, you know, to sleep in a sea of stars. And if you'd like to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my beauty channel, and my Goodreads are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.